Welcome to Sip, Sell, Repeat, the real estate podcast for women who know success is best served with a great cup of coffee or a well-earned glass of wine. I'm Dr. Cynthia Tant, your go-to real estate expert, here to help you navigate the market with strategy, style, and a little bit of fun. Whether you're flipping your first property, scaling your portfolio, or just dreaming about your next big move, this is the place for you. So grab your drink of choice, settle in, and let's sip, sell, and repeat our way to success. Let's get started. Good afternoon. And this is Cynthia Tant with Sip, Sell, Repeat. And I have the fortunate pleasure of introducing you to today is Kelly Jackson. And Kelly is coming to us from DC, Maryland, Virginia area is what I understand. That's quite a bit. I'm in the Panhandle of Florida, and the beautiful picture behind you is my beach. So I'm very proud of that beach. And so, Kelly, do you mind if I spend a few minutes just to tell our ladies here who you are and what you do? Is that okay with you?
Absolutely. I would love that.
All right, Kelly. So you've got about 23 plus years of full-time real estate experience. We
Yes.
understand that you're the trusted go-to for home buyers and sellers in the DC, Maryland, and Virginia markets. That's quite big up there. Okay. Specializing in the first-time homeowners, and we're going to talk about the military families relocating since I have that niche down here in Pensacola, and 55 plus clients in their transition. You're known for your sharp pricing strategies, creative marketing, and negotiation skills, which in real estate, we know we have to do that. Buyer benefits from your deep market insight, personalized approach. You got that nice smile going on right now, trying to find the perfect home for them and making it smooth and stress-free. Now, I understand you're part of the eXp Realty's luxury division. And
Yes.
so you're offering, that's awesome, some high touch, tech savvy experience with your totally national network and your local expertise. So if you're up in the area, referrals, we're all with it with Maryland, up in Maryland and DC and Virginia. Kelly's going to be your gal to go to. And Kelly, I've got the first question for you. So if
Okay.
you've been this real estate expert in those areas, generally, in the broad stroke of things, what have you found have been most effective when our market's shifting right now? We're in the, where are we? We're in the August, September, July, August, summer of 2025. And we've seen a lot of things happening in our markets, and we know that the real estate market is pretty much local. But what are you seeing in your market because you transition or you cover so many states in that particular area? What's your biggest, what are your goods and negatives, positives, negatives? What's going on up there?
Yes, we are seeing an increase in market time. So we are seeing properties sit a little bit. But one of the things that is very interesting is that our prices have remain pretty steady. We don't see any sharp decline in our pricing. And what's really working right now is communication, which has always worked. So, really setting those expectations. If you're selling your property now, maybe it's not going to fly off the shelf like it did in 2021. But setting those expectations, we're getting back to the days where actually realtors, we market our properties and we give feedback and we make adjustments and we do open houses and all the things that we're known for that we got away from in those COVID years.
That's a great observation because we actually have to go to work again. It's
Yes.
not okay, put the sign out in the front yard and the first day you've got 10 offers. And like you said, the open house, we do tons of open houses here. I love doing them. And just going back to I hate to say this, old school, but going back to the roots of what real estate's all about. And I know that you are, and I'll tell you what, let's do a little twist here. I'm in the
Okay.
military community. You've helped a number of military for transitioning, going back and forth. So when you're working with the military community, what are some of the things that you found that you've been able to do to assist this group because they're always in transition? What have you been finding with your experience?
Yes, absolutely. So, one of the biggest things is our military is out there every day and they're our boots on the ground. But I like to say that I'm their boots on the ground when it comes to finding a property. So, sometimes I've had people relocate from Hawaii, from even other countries where they're PCSing to our area. And I'll go out to the property, I'll make video for them. I will. Sometimes you got to go walk through a house and see what it smells like. And so I do all those things on
Oh,
behalf of the clients.
you know what? AI can't do that for us anymore. Smell the property as they're going.
That's right.
I'm being sarcastic right now, but it seems like the AI is taking our whole thing. We actually have to put boots on the ground. And when you're dealing with that community, obviously you do sometimes have to just do everything video wise. What have you
Mhm.
seen that, or I know what I know when I'm working with the military community, they will do what you tell them to do, correct?
Oh, yes.
They, they will get their paperwork in on time. They are very organized, which is most of them are very organized because they have to be. And so, what are some of the other things you may have found in this particular niche that has helped with the real estate transactions?
I would say really having ourselves aligned with a good lender who is stellar in doing VA financing.
Oh,
Also adjusting, sometimes it's about adjusting our times because they're in a different time zone. Maybe they're 13 hours in front of us or behind us. And so sometimes we have to adjust for things that, but I would say really being a resource and having information about the schools and the shopping because they don't have time to come and explore. When they're PCSing, they have a report date and they need to be here at a certain date. It's really aligning ourselves with what's important to them. And also sometimes it's communicating with their realtor in that other area that they're moving, that they're PCSing from and also understanding their housing allowance, understanding what can they buy instead of what can they use that for to actually purchase a property. So it's really being whatever they need us to be.
well, and that's kind of interesting because right now I'm in the process of we're selling a house for a pilot who is is moving to Virginia. So he's closing next Friday and is we're rearranging everything for when they come pick up his furniture to get the closing because the buyers are going, we want to be, I said, that's not going to happen, which fortunately in our area, everybody understands the military coming and going. But it's very interesting, like you say, how much money for buying a house here compared to buying a house in your area is a big difference. Or
Yes.
people leaving here in Pensacola and go to San Diego or the higher end homes. This young man bought a house for $235,000 overlooking the water, not on the water, but overlooking the water near the base last year for 239 and we got a full price offer for 374 in less than a year. But it was
Oh,
location
wow.
and it's a cash deal, but the people were willing to wait 2 months for him to be able to PCS up to Virginia. And we already got him something set up there. But it was very interesting because he was very organized and he goes, what does this mean? And what does this mean? And what are we going to do with this? And so it's been, and they just had a new baby. So we're putting the baby and the moving and all that in between. But I find it a pleasure working with the military in
Absolutely.
all ways possible. Do you have any stories or things that you've had with the military coming in that you want to share or something like that, or good or bad? We learn from each other.
Fortunately, they've been pretty positive, but I had a family that was coming. I've had multiple people come from Hawaii and they purchased sight unseen and I went out to the properties and toured them all and so we found the perfect house and when they got here they realized that their furniture was going to be delayed so they had
Oh,
no
yeah.
furniture. They had two little ones in tow. And as a closing gift, I got them some dishes and some towels. And so just some basics so they could at least that first night have some things at the house. So that was a fun story. But the kids were all excited, but it was something else living without furniture for a whole month.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know. Oh, let's hope these guys got something going up. They're saying they do, but and that's the other thing. I think we as realtors, and when I explain to go in a listing appointment or talk to somebody about real estate, I said, I use like the example of a bike wheel as here we are in the center spoke up in all the spokes going around from the center, and we're the realtor, and we've got to talk out to, we got to go to the lender, we've got to go to the title company, we've got the inspectors, we got the termite, we got the, you name it, we've got to put it all together, and we got to make it roll around so that it all works together.
Yes.
It's very interesting on what people say, God, you make so much money. And I go, oh my God, do you understand what we do? Do you have any experiences that you've had people, friends, family members, whatever, that have come during the years that have come and said, gosh, you just made blah, 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 but it only took you 30 days to do it, a typical closing period of time. Have you ever come back with what have you told people about who you are and what you do as a realtor?
So people actually don't, sometimes we make it look so easy. And I've had some clients come back that actually got licensed and they said, Kelly, I want to call you and apologize because I really didn't understand all the moving parts that it take. And I got into real estate because you made it look so easy and it's not easy at all. And so it is explaining to people. I think I do a better job now after that experience of saying, hey, look, we are life support for your transaction. We have to bring out the defibrillator sometimes and pump life back into it. And we're working behind the scenes to make sure that all these moving parts move in tandem to get us all to the table in 30 days. And so it really is, it's the contracts, it's the inspections, it's the appraisal, it's all of these various things that we have to endure to make it all look seamless in the end. That was pretty fun when people came back to me and said, "Hey, I gotta apologize." I thought that was pretty nice.
Well, that's a great compliment to you, but it's also a matter of these relationships. Some, especially your first time home buyers, and especially in today's market, they don't know what to do, or even people who haven't bought a house in maybe 20 or 30 years and they're going to downsize or relocate or whatever. It's just walking people through, and with all the paperwork now, who said we were going to go paperless or reduce the paper? No, that someone said that 20 years ago. I said, really? Insurance, oh gosh, things that we do on a regular basis that we have to explain to them that they have to jump through those steps to do. And I like when you said life support, and I understand that you are like a founding member of doctorshomefinder.com. What is that? I'm reading Doctors Home.
Yes.
What is that? Life
So
support,
doctors,
defibrillator,
doc,
right?
that's exactly it. I came from when I went to school for nursing, so I was a
Okay,
nursing administrator
all right.
actually long time ago before real estate. But a group of us realtors, and these are realtors, it's brand agnostic. It's not from one company, but there's a group of us and we've got together and we're Doctors Home Finder. And so what we do, we help doctors relocate because doctors have a similar set of requirements as the military. They're sometimes they're in their fellowship, they're uprooting their entire family to move to a new area. So we're also their boots on the ground. We're letting them know about the schools, the best coffee shop, what neighborhoods are going to give you an easier commute because we are known for traffic here. And so
Oh yeah.
we it's nationwide and we match. If I have, for example, if I have a doctor moving to California, I'm going to pick an agent who's familiar with helping doctors that are in our network. And I'm going to hand them off to that person because I know that they're going to get that same experience that they would get or they got from me while they were here. So it's really having relationships around the country with people who are familiar with the unique needs of doctors and their families.
in that sense, how do you get around the HR group at the hospital and the hospitals that have their own favorite realtors or something like that? How have you found getting, because I know it happens because I've seen it
Yes.
happen, but how do you get around that?
It's really been building relationships one at a time. All of us in the network have worked with multiple doctors, or even some of them even have spouses who are medical professionals. And so it really is showing them the value of what we bring to the table, whether it's helping having resources for spouses who are relocating with them to find employment. Again, information about the schools, the hospitals, what it means to live in that community. Also, not every doctor is a homeowner or wants to buy. Sometimes it's finding them a temporary rental in that community or that area.
That's interesting because I have found local doctors here in my area that I've worked with aren't leaving anywhere, but they want to invest. And so I work with a
Mhm.
number of investors in the area, and I have found that they don't have a clue. They're and sometimes they're not very good with their money. And so sitting there and talking to not a PhD in biomechanics, so I have a little bit of a background in that, and then talking with the doctor population. But it's been real interesting on they're very good at their specialty or whatever the case may be. And in the community, whether it's your medical doctor, chiropractor, or anesthesiologist, or whatever group you're looking at, but it's been interesting on how to break through that HR group that's sending them certain ways. Is it so it's an online, it's what doctors, say that again, what it is? What's the name of it?
Doctor's Home Finder.
Finder.com. So you go
Yes.
to I looked it up earlier. So you go to it. I saw the big map with the members that are on it. Is it something that our viewers, our women viewers here could find out more information about it and get it from you? Would you like to share that, or how would that happen?
Yes, they can absolutely reach out to me. I'm on all the social platforms. LinkedIn is a great way. And usually I'm under Kelly Jackson Realtor. So it's really easy to find me on any of the social platforms because that would be the first step. So we do an intake for our clients to find out what it is they need, what services they need. And then we're consider it like matchmakers for doctors and primarily doctors from teaching institutions. So,
Oh, wow. Okay.
yes.
That's interesting. Oh, okay.
So, yeah, teaching hospitals. And we have a number of them from Georgetown to Johns Hopkins
Oh, yeah.
and everything in between here. That's what Doctor's Home Finder is.
Yeah. That's great. That's fantastic. Thank you for the information because there may be some folks here that would be interested in looking at that avenue. I know I had not only a doctor, but a military doctor, and the military doctor. And so coming in as a military doctor to find a house, but not only that, they had two horses that they brought with them for the kids. So now you're looking for farm military. They're coming at this time. They're going to be here for maybe 3 or 4 years. And then they're going, I said, and when I met them, I said, do you have any problems with the horses? They go, no, we don't. I said, really? He goes, sometimes we have more problems with the kids in their schools. I went, oh my God, really? Which was funny because of where they would have to buy their house in comparison to where the better schools may have been, because they needed the acreage. But that was a very interesting experience that I had. Do you have any? I'd like to like a little bit. I'm going to veer off a little bit. You said that you do social media and stuff. Is there a social media platform that you found in your real estate business that brings you more business than the other? Have you started doing all these TikToks? I've got a 21-year-old that's got me doing TikToks and Instagram, but reels. I'm going, what is going on? But he's just doing on his phone, doing all 50,000 views for me going and serving an eviction letter to a house. I said, why is that so important to somebody? Have you done anything like that, or
I haven't served any eviction notices. I
eviction
did.
notices? That's good.
I used to sell foreclosures back during the 2008 during the Great Recession. But yes, we do Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I'm on Google, LinkedIn. So I even have a Twitter account that I don't use very often, X now.
So an X, I don't use either.
But
That's okay. Do you find one is better than the other? Do you have a team that does that? Do you do it? I mean, it's a lot of information going on there. So how's it going
we
for you?
actually do it. So my husband is also a realtor, and so we
Okay.
have something called Ask KJAX. Both of us have the first initial K, Keith and Kelly. So we call ourselves KJAX. So Ask KJAX, and basically that's where we answer questions from our clients that we've had. So our clients always have some really great questions that I hadn't thought of. And we'll tackle at least one a week on our social platforms. We also have a YouTube channel as well.
It's great. So have you found like people responding to you by they may find a listing that they're looking for in a house and then they go hunt you out and they go look at your social media and then do you feel like having all that and being personable that you're able to make the client more at ease when contacting you?
Yes, I feel 100%. I had a lady who she lived right around the corner from me, and I had no idea who she was. And she called me one day and she said, Kelly, I want to sell my house. And I'm telling her all these things. She said, I already know. I've watched all your videos. And she was in our walking route where we walked through the community, and she felt like she and her husband felt like they knew me, and so I didn't have to do a whole lot to sell them on the idea of working with me. And they still follow me on Instagram to this day. They live in another state far away, but they still follow me on Instagram. And it's a great way to keep up with my past clients as well as new relationships because people like to go and see what you're about before they want to know that you're someone who cares and see what type of person, what does that look like behind the scenes? And so that's really the purpose of me being on social media to give them a glimpse of this is how I operate. They can see some of my clients, happy faces at the closing table and so forth.
Yeah, I think it's again when I got started 30 years ago, it wasn't anything like this. And so now I
No.
know sometimes there's so much information out there, there's so much going on. It's just picking, is it just one thing you emphasize or do you multiple things? Sometimes it's pretty overwhelming and it's like, okay, stop, time out. But I understand the relationship very well. That it was really funny this past I also have Airbnbs or B&Bs. I hate saying Airbnb, but B&Bs, short-term rentals. And so my very first client that I sold a house to, I think it's been 27 years ago.
Oh,
She came in
wow.
to hang out with me at one of my B&Bs with her granddaughter. And we just laughed about it because I went to her son's wedding a couple months ago that we've stayed in contact because when they walked, I was sitting a desk, the old style where you sit at the desk and you answer the phone and you check the people who come in, the old, really old, as
Yes.
what is it called? Agent on duty? Yeah, agent on duty.
Floor duty. It was floor
Floor
duty.
duty. Floor duty, that's what it was. And I'm a broker, but we don't do floor duty. But Ben comes walking in, he says, I got a checkbook and I'm buying a house today. I went, that literally was my first client in my real estate business. And so Diane and Ben and we went looking and I learned then to be quiet, listen to what they're looking at and paying attention to. Just that very first experience because the first and we laugh about it today. We were even laughing about it the other day. The first house and they ended up buying it was we walked into it and it had a pink kitchen. And I went, really? I just met these people off the street. Didn't know anything about them, didn't know nothing. And Ben goes, I like pink. And I went, okay, let's go for it. And we looked at 4 or 5 more houses. He goes, no, we're going to do the house with the pink kitchen. Okay. And that was how my first experience in real estate went. Oh, I was an investor first, but actually being a retail realtor. So I don't know if you've had some experiences like that where you just go, and I think in our group and the ladies that I've talked with, those experiences are so in our background and I ended up 6 more houses bought and sold with her kids and that family alone. on top of the other referrals. But it was like just that one little thing. I'm buying a house today.
Yeah, we have clients that actually become like family because especially when you've been in the business this long, you start to sell homes to their kids. My daughter, who's a realtor, recently sold a house to someone that I've known for, oh my goodness, over 30 years. So it all comes back full circle. I have one client, I sold her mother's house, I sold her house, and then I sold her a house. And to this day, I still send birthday cards
Hey,
and I know her dog and I stop by her house when I can and it's always a pleasure. So definitely these relationships, they're not just a transaction, they're forever.
oh, and I think those of us who have been in the field for so long realize that sharing that with younger realtors is very important, I believe. I've also believed in using a mentor to get yourself up and
Yes.
going faster and surrounding yourself with people that are successful. There's a lot of companies. I'm nothing against lots of education and everything, but man, you got to get out there and do some work.
Oh
And
yeah.
hit the payment going. What would you, since you've been in for a while, and I'm sure you've mentored a number of agents, what would be a couple of things that you would like to tell the new agent out there when they're just getting started in today's world because of everything that's going on to get them started to help them out?
I would say number one is to treat it like a business from day one, not a hobby. Even if, and I understand that some people do come in part-time, they'll start off, but I believe in being a full-time realtor. That's just my personal thing. But I would say treat it as a business, meaning wake up every day looking for business. Let people know you're in real estate. Don't be a secret agent. And one thing I wish I had way back in 2002 when I got into the business was a CRM. So
Oh
really
gosh.
making sure that we have all of our people in the CRM, our sphere of influence, our family and friends, people that maybe we were shared another career with even. So really doing that and then enhancing it with social media. I think that social is important, but so many people think that, hey, I'm going to get into the business and I'm going to just make some videos. And that's the long-term game. The short term is actually beating the pavement, getting belly to belly with people, forging relationships. We've gone to networking groups. We've knocked on doors. We've made cold calls. We've held open houses. We've called for sell by owners and expires. You name it. And there's so many ways to get business. And it's that consistency every day, waking up. We are in business to serve, and we can't serve anyone if we're not meeting people.
I totally agree. Someone said to me, I don't know when this has happened, years ago, they said, you're a natural connector. I said, okay, because I'm pretty social and I travel a lot. I have the opportunity to travel a lot. And I've been on a resort in Mexico and ended up selling a house in Pensacola for B&B. I was here in town and had something listed, but I was going to Seattle to catch a ship up to Alaska. Young man calls me, says, hey, I saw this that I'm really interested in moving to Pensacola. I saw this. I said, in his price range and everything. And I go, hey, when can I show it to you? And what does he say? He says, I live in Seattle. I said, oh, I'm going to be there in 2 weeks. Got him all set up, did the video, shot it to him, brought the paperwork, bought the house. He says, let's go to breakfast. I'm buying the house, sight unseen. So I think that I enjoy the business. There's some days and some things, especially when we get
Oh, yeah.
inspections and oh my gosh, some of those things just drive you absolutely nuts, especially when the lender waits to the last minute to tell you that, oh, they need to have this and this. I'm going, why didn't you tell us that 3 weeks ago? Kind of thing. But I enjoy, I guess, it sounds like you have that same enjoyment of turning the keys over to a first time home buyer or having that military person relocated and feel at home. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with our group? Because we're going to have a wide group of people watching us, or ladies coming on to listen to us. What do you think what can KJAX bring to the table, and how can they get in touch with you specific? Oh, that's right. Kelly Jackson, Realtor. I got it right. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, and of course, and I do mentor a good amount of agents I have throughout my career. They can also call me at 240-385-9905. But I would say in this business, one of the things that I account for my longevity is really being a lifetime learner. And as being in the business 30 years or more, that we've had to do multiple transformations in our business. We had to embrace change. We didn't have phones, mobile phones. We had pagers, and
Yeah.
we had a
That good old
desk.
BlackBerry and that, yeah, yeah.
Yes. And so we've had to adapt, shift, and change multiple times. And people freaked out when COVID was over and now properties are sitting. It really is about embracing the changes, because that's the one constant, is that real estate is always changing. And now we have an opportunity to embrace AI, not to replace us, but to enhance and speed up some of the mundane tasks so we can
Oh,
meet face to face with more people and form more relationships. And so I would say embrace change. That is the biggest piece of advice that I could give anyone. If you're on the fence about video, about AI, about even picking up the phone, these are all things that we have to embrace, because through that, we're going to be able to serve more people.
I totally agree. And going back to the AI, and when you said about smells in the house, I'm going to start using that, because really, seriously, we can show the pictures, we can write everything down. Sometimes the AI, I try to tell my agents, and they're reading a listing description. I said, that is not describing the house. We have to figure out first off that all those extra words, we have to figure it out. We have to think a little
Yes.
bit. But that smell, that I didn't even think about that. Every one of these gals I've talking to, I was, oh my gosh, I'm writing things down. I'm learning, because really, AI can't do that for us. We have to do it. So if we do have an out of town person, or someone calls and likes to do a walkthrough, that's something to bring up to them. Man, you wouldn't believe this place, or oh, we got some problems going on just
Yes.
from the smell. So, well, Kelly, I want to thank you very much for joining us in the KJAX group. And again, I'm Cynthia Tant with Sip, Sell, Repeat. And the way we think about it here is, whether we're sipping coffee or a glass of wine, we're sharing our stories, and we just keep going, and we repeat with people. And our relationships are very important to us. And I hope the best of success for you too in the future.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
That's a wrap on this episode of Sip, Sell, Repeat. If you loved what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another powerhouse woman in real estate. Got a topic you want me to cover? Send me a message. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep sipping, keep selling, and keep repeating that cycle of success. Cheers to you and your next big deal.